Hey, what's up, everybody? I just figured I'd do a tool review on my Chicago Electric miter saw stand. It's the heavy duty. This one here is the 400 pound, 16 foot stand. It is not the one that's on Harbor Freight's website for $60. This one I think is right around $109, $110. I do have my Cobalt chop saw. It seems to be pretty universal. My Cobalt chop saw is now mounted to it. I just wanted to show you a few things about it. I do like it. I'm going to show you probably one thing that I don't like so far. But other than that, it's been a pretty good tool. I'm just a do-it-yourselfer kind of guy at home. And I was always cutting boards and everything, on the floor of my garage. And I got sick of it. So it was finally time to get myself something that made it a little bit easier in the house. So first things first, what you got to do is, obviously you got to set this all up. Once it's set up, it's pretty easy to set up. If I remember correctly, this has been set up for a couple, 3 months now. You have to put the wheels on, which is no big deal. Slide the bars in. You have to put this roller on. This here flips up. I haven't used it flipped up. I don't really know what the benefit would be. 100%. Like I said, I'm not a carpenter or a contractor or whatever. It may be. I'm not that. So first things first, guys. Once it's all set up, I mounted my Cobalt 10-inch chop saw to it. I used the supplied hardware from underneath. There is little clips that hold these bolts in place on these rails. So you don't have to worry about reaching underneath holding them while you're threading them on. You just have to line them up in your chop saw holes. There's one there, one there, one there, and then one there. And then what you can do once those are secured on, I left them right on the rails when I mounted my chop saw. And then these guys here flip up. This red button here is the lock. See the red button? Push that in, pull this up. That's too funny. I wasn't expecting that. You guys will get a good laugh at that. So what happened was my miter saw was slid all the way back and all the weight was backwards. It wanted to flip it off. Luckily it didn't crash. That's kind of funny. I'll lock it in place. So basically these flip up and they do adjust. When they'll probably be pretty close when you get it all set up and put together. They'll be pretty close to locking down, but I did adjust mine and it was pretty easy to adjust. I'll show you in the back here. It's pretty dark, but you can see that Phillips screw. That's where I adjusted it. And that there's one on each bracket, and all that does is set your clamping force on these rails. These rails here. So when you flip these down, that's locked on those rails. And the other part that's kind of nice, I don't know why you would have to, but you can slide it back and forth on these rails. You can shift it all the way to the left, or you can shift it all the way to the right. I just kind of eyeballed mine, put it in the center, and that's where I left it. The other thing I really like about it, this one does the 16 feet instead of the other one does the 80 inches, I believe. The other one that Harbor Freight sells for around 60 or 70 bucks. That's a 350 pound. I wanted the long one because I just wanted it. And if I have a 12-foot board, I know this will be fully supported. So these turn dials in here lock your slide rail in place. That way it doesn't roll. It also straightens it when you tighten it. So you loosen it all the way up. That'll slide all the way out. That baby's pretty long. Same adjustment with this guy here. This one will slide all the way out. Same as the other one. The other adjustment that these arms will do is here. So you screw all the way out, and then this guy here adjusts up or down, so that way you can keep your board on your chop saw nice and level. So that's a nice little feature. I've never had one of these before, so if you're watching this and you're like, well, duh, they always do that. Well, I've never had one. And it's definitely a back saver for sure. So this one here also adjusts. The only other thing I can show you is how these fold up. So my original plan with my chop saw was I wanted to leave it mounted to my table here, and I wanted to be able to store it in a corner so it wasn't set up like this in the middle of my garage floor. The only other thing I could do is take the chop saw off the table, which I didn't want to do. I wanted to leave it all together, just pull it out when I'm ready. So this whole stand feels very sturdy. The other thing I'll point out too is these legs to keep it level. It's actually just the one that will adjust to keep your table nice and level. I didn't do anything with it. I just set it up. It didn't rock back and forth, so I went with it. It's been totally fine. So when you go to fold the legs, you have to push these in. And if you ever pushed in these little dowels before that are spring loaded, they're kind of a pain. Or can be a pain sometimes on other stuff. Not on this particular thing, but other products are designed with those push tabs in. And sometimes they can be a pain. So I'm gonna try to fold up these legs one-handed here. I'm just gonna push in this tab. My phone's probably gonna walk away from what we're trying to see here, but I'm gonna do it and then I'll show you. Okay, so I got this one. I'm gonna do it with my foot here. And that one's locked in place. I'm going to push this tab in. And this one's locked in place, so they're in the upright position. They're locked. Same thing on both sides. I'm going to set this down on the wheels now. So there it sits on the wheels. And then you've got this handle which you have to install onto your stand when you set it all up, get it out of the box. So I just lift up on this side, push this tab in. Sorry, I'm trying to do this all one-handed. So this one's a little stiff. It's always been a little stiff. But then again, I'm not folding it up a whole lot. I'm just leaving it set up. Sorry the video's so shaky. It's hard to do this one-handed. So this leg I had to pull back just a little bit to get it to go. So here it is. My chop saw. I've got it just by the handle now. So if I stand this up very carefully and quietly because the kids are sleeping. So here it is stood up with my chop saw on it. Now, I haven't read the directions. Maybe it says that you can't leave your chop saw on it. But I feel like that's kind of the point of it. You know, especially a carpenter or a contractor, they would put it on there, maybe put it in their truck, roll it out of the back of the truck with the saw on it. I don't know, it kind of makes sense to me. So overall, I'm really impressed with this thing. I like it. It does everything I need. The only thing I don't like, and the reason I don't leave it standing like this in my garage, is because I'm afraid the kids are going to come in here and bang it and it's going to topple over. So it is not very sturdy. See how easily I just touched it and it was going to fall over. See that? I'm literally just putting just a touch of pressure on that to knock it over. That part of it I don't like. That's the only drawback from this. Now, if you stood it up and rolled it in a corner where it can't fall over, you'd be totally fine. But other than that, guys, this is a great table. It was well worth the money. I like being able to do the 16-foot boards, or for me, it's always just 12-foot boards at most. Otherwise, this is a great product. It feels very sturdy. It doesn't feel cheap. There's nothing on it that I could see that would break. If I had to speculate, I just think maybe these spring-loaded gadgets here for the locking and unlocking of the legs to fold them in and out. Sorry, I didn't even have it focused. But you can see this thing's rocking. I just touched it and it's rocking. So I don't leave it in the upright position. But yeah, that's all the cool features. Here's the locks again for the rails. I think I covered everything. The wheels seem good, guys. I mean, it's pretty basic. You bolt them on. It's just a piece of rod that goes through. Both brackets, you bolt it. Same thing with that side. Yeah, it's pretty straightforward. Nothing too crazy. Alright, guys. Thanks for watching.